This video will detail the installation of the Fishbone Off-Road rear bumper with tire carrier for 1987 to 2006 YJ and TJ Wranglers. Begin by removing your factory bumper or bumperettes as well as your spare tire and tire carrier. Step 2. Drill mounting holes. Using the supplied drill template, drill 4 holes into your factory rear frame crossmember. This will consist of 2 holes on each side. The notch on the drill template will face up and the holes will line up with the existing holes in the Jeep's crossmember. Be very careful when drilling into the rear crossmember. Use a drill stop if needed to ensure you do not puncture your fuel tank. Step 3. Install the rear bumper. Position the rear bumper on the rear crossmember. Having a friend help you hold the bumper in place is ideal. If you don't have a helper, using a floor jack can be useful in holding the bumper while you install the hardware. There are 4 locations to install the backing plates and bolts. Location 1 and 4 are easy to access. Location 3 is accessible, but it requires a little creativity with your tools. We found it worked best to use a 1/4-inch drive ratchet with a deep well socket. On some TJs, location 2 will not be possible to access without lowering your gas tank. Starting at location 1 or 4, place a backing plate on the back side of your factory rear crossmember and line it up with your factory bolt holes. Insert a flat washer, lock washer, and 10mm bolt through the backing plate and into the rear bumper. Do not fully tighten at this time. You will need some room to move the bumper around as you install the other bolts. Repeat this step for the remaining mounting locations. Install the 2 12mm bolts to the underside of the bumper. Again, do not fully tighten. This will help when installing the tire carrier. Step 4. Install the tire carrier. Install 1 gasket over the tire carrier pivot shaft. Slip the tire carrier onto the pivot shaft, then secure it to the bumper with a C-clip. We suggest adding some grease at this time to pre-lube the pivot shaft. Next, install the grease nipple onto the pivot shaft. Using a grease gun, lubricate the pivot shaft to ensure smooth operation. Tighten all bumper bolts at this time. Next, install the 2 10mm hex bolts with washers and nylock nuts onto the tire carrier. Tighten these slowly while checking the swing force on your tire carrier. You want these bolts to be as tight as possible while maintaining an easy opening force of the carrier. Step 5. Install the spare tire bracket by setting it in place on top of the tire carrier. Install the brake light bar on top of the tire carrier. Loosely install 3 10mm bolts with washers and nylock nuts. You may need to adjust the spare tire bracket based on your rim offset. Install the 12mm bolt with washers and nylock nut through the back of the tire carrier and brake light bar. Lift your spare tire up to the tire carrier lugs to check for clearance. Adjust the spare tire bracket to allow room for your spare tire. Remove the tire and tighten the spare tire bracket in the desired location for your wheel. Tighten all remaining bolts. Step 6. Install your spare tire. Place your spare tire on the tire carrier and tighten your OEM or supplied lug nuts on the studs. And you're done. You're ready to enjoy your new Fishbone Off-Road rear bumper with tire carrier.
Fishbone.